Hello everybody and welcome to this latest edition of Old School Championship Wrestling Study Hall. I'm the owner of OSCW, Dan Broder. Next to me, the Vice President of Talent Relations, Shane O'Ryan. And what a show we had back in November at Principles of Destruction, our most successful show yet. But the big news, we have a new champion here in OSCW, and his name is Eclipse. As well as some of you who are at the show may already know, one of our top competitors in OSCW has been injured. We'll have an interview with him later on in the show. But first, let's go to Shane O'Ryan for the updates on Principles of Destruction.
Thank you very much, Dan. The opening match of Principles of Destruction was a #1 contendership match that was scheduled to be Eclipse to take on Alexander Hale. However, due to Alexander Hale's injuries, he was replaced by a credible competitor as cold as ice, William Saint. The two fought tooth and nail for a grueling 20 minutes, and Eclipse did become the victor at the end to go on to the main event to face Heavy Metal. Match 2, one was victorious over Sydney Starr, but the real talk of the night was the clobbering shot heard around the Hazeldean Dome, delivered by one and received by two, which led to some miscommunication later on. Returned to OSCW at Principles of Destruction to put on another Moneymaker challenge for any fan in the crowd with a controversial finish as usual. Featured the undefeated 2 took on the returning 2008 Wrestler of the Year, Brady Roberts. In a barn burner of a match that lasted over 18 minutes, it led to miscommunication between 1 and 2 that led to the demise and the very first pinfall of 2 in OSCW history. To be the upset of the century, where Barricade defeated Adrian Walls, the decision was reversed and overturned due to the fact that Barricade's feet were underneath the ropes. The main event featured OSCW Heavyweight Champion Heavy Metal defending his title against challenger Eclipse. In what some people call the best match in OSCW history, Eclipse finally achieved his dream of becoming the OSCW champion.
How about that, folks? A new champion here in OSCW, the man from Veracruz, Eclipse. But that isn't all we have for you. There's tons of news and rumors here in OSCW. Well, how about the 1 and 2 situation?
Controversy between 1 and 2 has been building up for quite some time now. Principles of Destruction was now the 3rd time that 2 has received a clobbering shot from 1. You can pretty much see it that he's starting. 3. You can pretty much see he's starting to get frustrated. However, according to them, they're still stronger than ever. We're going to have to wait and see at the shows how that happens to play out. But what about the last show? Barricade selling himself out to Adrian Walls. Well, what do you got to say about that, Dan? That was a shocker.
Well, it looks like Wall Street has a new employee, and it's one of the biggest, most bizarre-looking ones I've ever seen, as Barricade seems to have thrown himself into the league with the moneymaker, Adrian Walls.
Also in big news, one of OSCW's top competitors, the athlete Alexander Hale, injured his left forearm and wrist and will be out of action for about 6 months. Alexander Hale has been one of the top rookie athletes across Alberta in a long time. In 9 months, he's wrestled in 5 provinces, 2 states, and he has over 50 matches underneath his belt. We wish him a speedy recovery to OSCW, and as of right now, Dan Broderick earlier tonight had an interview with Alexander Hale, and we're going to go to that right now.
He was the #1 contender for the OSCW championship. I mean, now with your injury, that's put a huge setback in your plans. How does that feel?
You know, Dan, I don't like to use the word setback. You know, I believe things happen for a reason. And I don't see this as setting me back. I just think that this is going to give me more time. I'm going to come back faster, I'm going to come back bigger, and I'm going to come back stronger.
And now your friend Eclipse is the heavyweight championship. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, Dan, in the past few months at OSCW, I became really close with Eclipse in the back. I spent a lot of time with him, we've talked a lot. We're really, really close friends now. And to see that he's finally took that title off the waist of heavy metal is a huge relief for me, but not just for me, probably all the fans of OSCW, to have a true champion now that's someone that they can cheer in.
Tell me, what are the athletes' plans for the future?
You know, I've got a lot of things ahead of me. I've got a long road. But I'm going to have to keep this on the down low. But I can tell you one thing, that when I do come back, you're looking at the next OSCW heavyweight champion.
Strong words from the athlete Alexander Hale.
Some sad news about Alexander Hale. The fans and the roster will miss him. However, we look forward to seeing him in the ring in a short time. But the show must go on. With all that said and done, above the rest, an 8-man single elimination tournament to determine the new #1 contender to take on Eclipse at the OSCW Annual Classic, March 20th, 2010. First round action is going to feature Heavy Metal to take on the 2008 Wrestler of the Year, Brady Roberts. Although it was drawn that Roberts would take on the mystery opponent due to William Saint's actions at Principles of Destruction, he will now have the misfortune of doing that. In a match people never thought they would see, the most forceful tag team in Western Canada will be forced to square off one-on-one as 2 takes on longtime friend and partner 1, which should be a hard-hitting match for everyone to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, all this will happen at Above the Rest, December 12th at the Hazeldean Dome. Don't miss it!
Come see wrestling the way it should be, wrestling at its finest, and come watch OSCW do what it does best, entertain each and every one of you.
Thank you for joining us here at Study Hall.